Hi guys, it's Brittany. So I'm back and I want to make sure that I do more videos each week because I enjoy doing videos and I just love sharing my passion for movies and sharing you guys sharing my dreams with you guys and doing fun quizzes and all that. So yeah, I definitely want to do that more because it's just fun and I just never get tired of talking about movies. Like, any movie. It doesn't have to be one specific genre, but it could be, any genre at all. I don't mind. But since since this will be my first video of being back and gonna do a lot more on my channel, then as of today, right now, it's going to be a movie fact video, and it will be a fun movie fact video on The Ghost in the Darkness. And if you haven't seen it or heard of it, it is a thriller and adventure movie, but it's also based on true events of what really happened about these two vicious lions that were attacking people and killing people in Africa, and it took place in 1898. So, and Val Kilmer, he plays a character based on a real life person of John Patterson, and Michael Douglas is in this, and although he doesn't play a character based on a real life person, his character is more of a fictionalized character, but still a character nonetheless. And this is such, a good movie. And now this movie isn't the kind of movie to watch at a young age. It's not a kids movie. But I certainly did grow up watching it, and I'm gonna be telling you guys the facts on this movie because I was doing some research, but I gotta say, while I was looking up on these facts on the Ghost in Darkness, now there's some things I thought, okay, so no matter what was going on, they just put a lot of hard work into it. But there was one fact in particular I would say that I was shocked, and I was just like, whoa. But I'm not going to tell you that now. I would have to tell you later. Now, I know I usually read the facts off of my phone, but this time I'm gonna do it on my computer. But I'm hoping, even if I do that the camera won't stop recording because I still wanted to keep recording. So how am I gonna do this? Okay, you know what? Let me try to do something here. Sorry, I just saw something on my computer, so I'm like, what just happened? Hang on, you know what? Let me pause this recording and take screenshots of the facts because I have no idea that reading the facts, on the computer, I don't know if it's gonna somehow stop recording the video or if it's gonna somehow cause a problem, or maybe it will look like the video is pausing when it's not pausing. So let me pause this real quick. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh, and I didn't mean screenshots. I meant taking a picture of the facts on my computer because because I think there was a time, not recently but long ago, I remember when I was recording a video, and when I was trying to read facts from the computer when recording at the same time, somehow it just stopped recording. And just when I thought it's still recording, and then I went back to the camera, it showed it was off. You know, the camera stopped working, and I thought, oh great. So I had to find another way to take down, well, not take down, but there was another way I had to do of writing down facts and somehow able to read them while recording, but somehow not do at the same time, because like I said, I don't know if reading the facts on the computer that somehow it might look like the video is skipping, even though the camera's fine, and even though it may not be skipping or pausing, but yet it may look like that if I'm trying to read off the computer. So that's why I just took pictures of the facts. So yeah, but for those who have or haven't seen it, it is a good movie, so I do recommend it. Like, now of course it does have some graphic and gory parts, so yeah, and I would say it is suspense and it is intense. And yeah, now of course it's horrible of what happens in the movie because of the fact that this really happened, but you know, to see it in this movie, it kind of like it gives you the idea about what happened at that time. It's just terrifying. That's like a horror movie itself. So yep. Okay, so here are the facts. So without any delay, here are the facts. Only one scene uses an animatronic lion. All other shots use two real-life lions named Bongo and Caesar. The same lions appeared in George of the Jungle. Okay, that is interesting. That I did not know. Well, actually I did, you know, while doing research, looking up on the facts on the movie. But other than that, yeah, that's interesting. 2, William Goldman first heard about the story when traveling in Africa in 1984 and thought it would make a good script. In 1989, he pitched the story to Paramount as a cross between Lawrence of Arabia and Jaws. They commissioned him to write a screenplay, which he delivered in 1990. So that's how, you know, The Ghost and the Darkness came to be, is because William Goldman, he heard about this story when he was traveling in Africa in 1984. So I think when he was hearing about this story, you know, it gave him the idea to, because, you know, he thought, you know, this would make a good script, which in fact it did. Now, I think there are some who, I think those who probably have worked on this movie didn't like the way it turned out, because I've actually read that the director himself didn't like the way the movie turned out. But you know what, there are some people who actually do like it, which I do. It's a good movie, so I liked it. Like, you know, I like the way it turned out. 3, William Goldman's inspiration for Charles Remington was Burt Lancaster. So that was his inspiration for the fictional character that Michael Douglas plays. Let's see. Okay. Hang on a sec. Just trying to. Okay, hang on. So 4. Yeah, I have to like really zoom in on these pictures because I took pictures of the backs. 4. In Beaumont's office, a poster can be seen in the background promoting the settlement of British East Africa. This is a reproduction of original which can also be found online. The poster features a remote rail station with a train. The surroundings are filled with images of people being crushed by snakes and I'm trying to look. Where's my place? Okay. Okay, the surroundings are filled with images of people being crushed by snakes and eaten by lions. While the poster was created before the man-eater event in Savo, the irony of the railway and man-eating lion is rather potent. Okay. Now it says it shows these, I think dark images on this poster in Beaumont's office. I'm guessing that's the beginning of the movie, but I've never noticed that. I would have to go back and look at that, because I think if I have caught that, I would have been like, okay, what is that? So yeah, but okay, but my guess is, why do they do that? Like, to put up on this poster, but it shows these dark images of people being crushed by snakes and people also eaten by lions, like, and this was before this event occurred, in the movie, within the story. Like, why did they put that? Was it like somehow foreshadowing it? But although we just see the lions, we don't see the snakes. So I don't know why. So like, I'm just confused. So okay, I don't get that. So 5, John Travolta and Nicolas Cage were considered for the role of Colonel John Patterson. The part of Remington was originally offered to Sean Connery and Anthony Hopkins, but both declined. The producers were considering asking Gerard Depardieu, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, when Michael Douglas, intentionally hired as producer, decided to play the role himself. Now that is true, and I do, now of course when I was quite young, I do remember seeing it shows that he was a producer, because yeah, that is actually true, because he was hired as a producer for the movie. But I think maybe they had a little trouble casting the right actor for the role of the fictional character role of Charles Remington. Michael Douglas decided to take on the role himself. But I actually don't mind that he did, because he did a great job, and he played this very, very convincing character, and a good character too. So yeah, he did great with that role. Okay, 6. This is the only movie that Jerry Goldsmith composed for Stephen Hopkins. The ones before this film were scored by Alan Silvestri. Interesting. Okay, 7. For the film, John Rosengrant and Joey Orozco based the oversized sculpture's features and proportions on photographs and measurements of Sadan, the main performing lion, originally cast to portray both the ghosts and the darkness from the first sculpture. The crew built 2 hydraulic lion puppets. Each mechanical puppet had a full range of motion on the front end with hydraulically powered head and torso movement, plus radio-controlled facial features and rod-puppeteered front legs and paws. Yak hair and mohair were hand-tied into silicone skin on the faces and bodies. Borsco did the final paint jobs on the animatronic lions, coloring one lighter for the ghosts and one darker to portray the darkness. Now, that is quite interesting, and honestly I never noticed that. Now it's very quite convincing when you see the lions, because you think these ones are real. Now there's only one they used that was a real lion, but yeah, it does show that in one scene in one scene they did use a real lion. Well, actually they used 2 lions, so yeah, so most of it was like, I do think there are some scenes here and there where I think that the real lions were probably like walking around, maybe roaring, but I think when it comes to the attacking scenes, or I don't know, I don't know, I can't tell which parts where maybe the real lions were in the movie and which ones were part of like the puppeteered ones, because they looked real, they looked like real lions even though they were the animatronic ones. So one that was shaded lighter to portray as the ghosts, and one darker for the darkness, and I never caught that. I never did. I didn't notice I never noticed that of like the color of their fur, like one lighter, one darker. I never noticed that, but if I watch it again, I think I should pay attention to that. Yeah, because I had no idea. 8. In early drafts of the script, Remington was originally going to be an enigmatic figure, but after Michael Douglas chose to play him, the character's role was expanded and given a history. In William Goldman's book, Which Lie Did I Tell?, the screenwriter argues that Douglas's decision ruined the mystery of the character, making him a wimp and a loser. Now, that I don't agree. I mean, just because they probably were probably having trouble casting the role for that character, but even though Michael Douglas was hired as producer for the movie, and even though he decided to take the role himself, which I think he did a great job, but for him to say that because it was his decision, Michael Douglas's decision, to have given his character just a bit more, background and history to him, and somehow it just like ruined the mystery to the character, and saying that it just makes him look like a wimp and a loser, that I don't agree. I'm sorry if he feels that way, but I honestly don't agree. I completely disagree. And you know what? Michael Douglas, he's a really great actor, and I think so far I've seen probably several of his movies, probably a bit more than I know, but still, I know there are some I probably have seen that I know, and there's other ones that I still haven't seen, but just knowing he has a very successful, acting career, and he's just a great actor in general. And even though it was his decision to give his character a bit more background and history to him, where you can get to know him a little bit more, as a character. There's nothing wrong with that, and I actually like that, because I actually like to somehow even get to know a character, even just a little bit. Like, it may not be everything, but even if it's just a little bit, like some things here and there, that's fine. So I will say this: whether if Michael Douglas wanted to play the character like as a complete mystery character where you don't know anything about him, I think I would have been okay with that. But even if he had decided himself to just give his character a little bit more about him, of a little bit history to his character, that's still fine by me. I'm not gonna argue with that. So I would just say I completely disagree with you of what you said. So yeah, I still think, like I said, to me, I don't think there was anything wrong with what he did. And plus, even with him giving his character a bit more history, where you get to know a little bit more about him, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. So even though that was his decision that he made, and since that's what we get to see in the movie, I'm fine with that. And I am. And plus, like I said, even though that was his decision to make, it does not make his character look like a wimp and a loser. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Okay. So there are two more facts, and yet this video is going for 22 minutes. Wow, I didn't know. I just thought it would be just a little bit, like maybe around 16 minutes, but time flies by fast. So, wow. Okay, 9. The real Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson published a book about his experiences titled The Man-Eaters of Tsavo. So, yeah, he wrote a book about his real life terrifying experiences of what he had experienced with those lions in the movie. And before I get to the final fact, I also want to mention that in real life that John Patterson, the real person himself, he took down those lions himself, by himself. There is no one with him like how we see in the movie, and I think the reason why we get this fictional character that Michael Douglas plays is because I think somehow, just to make it a bit more maybe believable, to the fact that it wasn't just one person that took down these lions himself, but he had help. But I think it's not just that, like adding, to make it a bit more believable, but I think, I don't know, I think somehow I just like the fact that they add this, fictional character, even though it wasn't based on a real life person, but just the fact that he's there and he's helping, John Patterson, which Val Kilmer plays, and seeing, just seeing these two characters, trying to work together, trying to really take down these lions and kill them. And so even just seeing how the way they kind of like form a friendship in a way, but yet they didn't remain friends for long because he gets killed off. Not Val Kilmer though, but still, it's like, and I think with his role, like I said, even with the fictional role that Michael Douglas played, like I said, I think it just adds just a bit more to the story, like I said, not only to help out Val Kilmer, but I think it just adds a bit more to the story itself, which makes it entertaining and also um, even enjoyable to watch. And plus, you get to see these characters working together and just and I would say they actually work quite well together in this movie. They really did. And last fact, now some of you may not know this, or for those who probably do, you probably already know. But now this, I feel like I really did not know until, I would say, 4 days ago at least. Now the final fact here, it says, during the nightmare sequence where the lion kills Patterson's wife was the part where the lion dragged off and killed Remington in his sleep. The screams that Patterson's wife are giving is actually from Remington. Now all honesty here is that because I did grow up watching this quite young, which, yes, I know I shouldn't have because it's not a kids movie, but I actually liked the movie when I was quite young. Now, of course, the lions themselves, when they were attacking and killing people, yes, that did scare me, and they did scare me because they had this very off, like vicious and soulless lions, where it just seemed like they were cold-blooded killers, so that part itself just gave me, bad vibes, from those lions. So of course I didn't like how they were doing that because it was just graphic and gory. But where was I getting at? Oh yeah, I was just saying that even though I didn't like those parts, but other than that, I liked everything else. The performances, even the music, and just seeing where the story was going, and just seeing how that they're actually going after them to really hunt them down and to kill them off, and so that way they won't have this problem, of these, completely like heartless, like soulless lions that just seem like said, cold-blooded killers that were killing people. And they weren't killing people like normal lions, they were killing them like they were going after blood, which is very dark. So and like I said, so even though I don't quite like that, but I just liked everything else. So I think to say I wasn't too scared from watching the movie, only because yes, you do see some parts of the lions here and there, and you do get those intense and parts of the movie when the lions are attacking and killing, which is awful. It's awful. But other than that, I think I mostly paid attention to the performances, like Val Kilmer's and Michael Douglas's performances. So I liked that. So my point here is that when it came to that scene, when it comes to that scene where he's having a nightmare, and of course it shows how, and this is how the nightmare starts. Well, not starts, but maybe somewhere in the middle of his nightmare, but shows how it seems everything's good, and it seems like everything's back to normal, the lions are gone, and no one's in danger, but then, it shows how his wife is coming to visit him, and she's, in Africa, and so when he sees her, he's happy to see her, but then, she's carrying their newborn son because that's the thing though, because at the time when he was there and she was in London, she was pregnant, so by the time she comes and visits, his son was, just a newborn, so I think his son was maybe weeks old or maybe a month old, I don't know, but he was still just a newborn, and then she's carrying him, and all of a sudden he looks into the tall grass, I think wheat grass, and then he sees a lion, but he sees the tail of a lion and he starts to panic. And then he's trying to tell her to go back, but then it seems like she's not hearing him because she's just so happy to see him and she's waving at him, and he keeps telling her to go back. But then in the nightmare, the lion jumps on her and starts, well, I don't want to say it because for those who've seen it, you know what it does. And even just that nightmare scene itself, it's horrible. Like, it's horrible because it's like he's having this nightmare that his wife is being killed along with his newborn baby, and it's just awful. It's sad to see that, but the point is, when that scene was happening and when he wakes up, he comes to find out that Charles Remington isn't in his tent, and it looks like something had happened, that a lion came in and dragged him from the tent, which of course it did. But the thing is, now for a long time, even at a young age, even by the time when I was even a teenager, I would say even in my 20s, I thought, okay, what happened? I thought either because I was just thinking, like, okay, what had happened here? Because I was just curious. I thought when his character was killed off in this movie, I thought either his character was killed off at the same time he had the nightmare, or maybe it happened maybe a few minutes before the nightmare, or maybe somehow it happened maybe just when his nightmare was ending, and then by the time he woke up that it was already too late. So I didn't know just how long that had happened when he had the nightmare. So I was just curious about that. I was like, okay, how long ago did this happen? Was it minutes before, after the nightmare? Was it around there? So like that, I didn't know. But when I was doing research and when I was looking up on facts on this movie, I finally read what it said, and this one really shocked me, which I read to you, that when he was having this nightmare, so it's kind of like this, imagine it, so it's like in that scene when his wife is being attacked, that's when the lion is dragging Charles Remington out of the tent, and then when she's screaming, that's him screaming. So it's like his screams were being heard somehow in his nightmare, but in his Val Kilmer's nightmare, he wasn't hearing it from, like, he didn't know what was happening to him because all he heard was his wife screaming. But when she's screaming in a nightmare, that's when he was screaming for real, because he was being dragged and killed off by this lion. And to be honest, it's such it's sad, and to be honest, I don't think I've seen a movie like that where if a character has a nightmare about something going on, but at the same time another thing's going on, and then by the time they wake up they find out that something else had happened when they were asleep. So I haven't seen a movie like that, but with the Ghost in the Darkness, I think that's the first time I've seen something like that. And now it doesn't really say why his character's death scene wasn't filmed, but I'm guessing it probably wasn't filmed for many reasons. Probably because it would have been too graphic, too gory, and I think it would have been too much just for the audience to see. And I don't blame them, like, because I wouldn't want to have seen that, because that would have really made me sad, and I wouldn't want to see such the horrific and graphic details to that scene in particular, because that would have been just too horrible to see. So yeah, but all I'm saying is that when I read that fact confirming that the nightmare he had was the same time that his character was killed off, that, like, I was shocked, you know, because I wasn't sure whether if it was or wasn't, but since I read it and it confirmed it for me, I got chills. Because to me, like, that's the most unnerving thing, you know, for me to hear, and for me to even read, like, oh gosh, like, that's horrible, you know, like, completely horrible. But yeah, I just don't like that scene. Like, I just don't like how they just killed him off like that. I don't know, I think it would have been nice if he had stuck around a bit longer, you know, but that didn't happen. So yeah, so that's all the facts for this movie, and this video is going for long, which I apologize. Or maybe I shouldn't apologize, because I know some of you guys are saying, oh no, don't apologize, don't worry, you're good, and you know, that's very sweet of you guys, you know, and I'm glad if you don't mind if my videos are maybe 20 minutes or longer, like 30, and now it's like 36. So that's all the facts on the movie. So just want to ask you guys, what do you think about it, you know, and well, if you have seen the movie or not, and you know, yeah, so let me know whether if you've seen the movie and whether if you've known these facts about the Ghost in the Darkness. But yeah, so I will do a movie review on it soon, and plus I will also do a popcorn chat and sorry, little lint. So yeah, I will do a movie review, a popcorn chat, and a back in time watches video on the movie soon. I don't know how soon, but when I do, you'll know. So it's almost gonna be 40 minutes. So anyway, let me know what you think, and hope you enjoyed this. And for more movie content, please subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment down below on what you think about this movie, and whether if you have seen it or not, or if you haven't, would you want to see it? Because I actually do recommend the movie. It's a good movie. It has suspense, it's intense, and it, you know, of course it does have some graphic and gory scenes, so if you can handle that, then I recommend it. But I would not advise for any young kids to watch it. But like I said, with me at a young age, it was just different. Now that could be a whole nother story for a video on the first time that I watched it. Let's see, because it came out in 96, so at that time I was 4, but I didn't watch it that young. Which it's probably a good thing I didn't. So I think the first time I did watch it was maybe around, because I did have it on VHS at the time, so I probably watched it when I was maybe 6 or 7, which is still young, you know. It's like, because you know, children are quite impressionable, so depending what they watch, it'll leave an impression on them, and it depends on what they watch, how it makes them feel, you know. But to be honest, I would say, now even though this movie in a way did scare me because of the fact that it really happened, so like I said, seeing the lions killing, okay, that scares me. But other than that, when it comes to seeing anyone else, when it comes to watching performances of the actors themselves, like, I'm not scared, I'm fine. You know. But I think the one movie that probably scares me more to watch is Arachnophobia, only because it's like this. It's like when you know with lions, you know they're far away from you. So it's like if you know that you won't be, if you know that you won't ever encounter one and or come to face with one, then you know you're all good. But with spiders though, it's different because they could be anywhere. They could crawl up anywhere outside. They can even show up in your house. They can show up unexpected, like in your room, or in the bathroom, in the kitchen, the laundry room, the living room, you know, things like that. So it's like they can appear anywhere. So to me, that's what's scary about, that. But anyway, I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but to see more like this and to see more movie content videos, even dreams and quizzes and all of that, then and reaction videos, then give this video a like, subscribe, and yeah, check out the rest of my videos and like those, and leave a comment and give me your feedback as well. So and this is all so long. I apologize. So that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.